Welcome, everyone, back to Read the Book First. Today... Oh, wait, we might be combining these episodes. I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if we're listening to this, we're not combining the episodes. If it's cut out, you'll never know. Amanda has returned / continued, depending on how I edit the episode, to discuss the world of cats with me. We're going to be discussing the Cats musical.
Based off of the T.S. Eliot's Practical Cats that we just talked about, either in the previous 5 minutes or
the previous episode.
Yeah. However it plays out.
Yes, but we're talking about the West End originally, right?
West End original musical written by the Andrew Lloyd Webber. No, he's a fuckhead, but he is the Andrew Lloyd Webber. He's that bitch.
Truly, unfortunately.
Right? That's actually the second note, because I wrote Jellicle songs for Jellicle Cats, which is the only song that isn't based. It's one of the songs not based on a poem. Sorry. Yeah. It was my second note is Andrew Lloyd Webber is so hummable, and I hate him for it.
It's true. Mm-hmm. It's true. Before we get into this, so here's my history with cats, and I forget if I went into my history with cats with the poem, but when I was like 8 or 9, my family went to Boston on a trip, and my mom and I went to see the whatever traveling Broadway version of Cats there. I remember only being terrified about the cats jumping out of the audience because I was a child and did not know the context. And then we had the VHS of it, probably because we were there, and I watched it, and I wasn't obsessed with it, but I remember watching it. But what I remember from this, okay, so that was when I was like 8 or 9. Flash forward to when I'm older than 21. I've seen this recording of the musical in the last 15 years, probably 3 times, including this time. The previous 2 times, I was under an influence of some sort of substance. I already texted Amanda this, but this is way better when you're under some sort of substance.
I'm sure it is.
It is.
Honest to God.
Because half of this, I don't remember happening. And like this is me watching it today, sober, and with the context of the poems they're based off of. So I know the characters. So I shouldn't be surprised at all. But I just want you to know I watched the recording hours ago. And like we just went, Amanda and I just went out like a normal, chill friend hangout dinner. And the whole time I was like, I feel like I'm in a different world. Like I just sat here intently, straight from coming home from work, straight into watching and taking notes on this musical, and then going pretending like I didn't, so that we wouldn't talk about it at dinner.
Yeah,
and I feel bonkers.
Honestly, that's like a very valid reaction. My history with cats is both shorter and more intense. I remember the ad for the VHS.
I remember the ad for that too.
Showing up on like one of the tapes that we watched to oblivion. I don't remember which one it was. So I remember seeing that ad and thinking, man, those cats look freaky. And that was the extent of like my thing. And then when I got really into musicals, I was like, wow, Cats sounds like a horrible musical, because it's like a joke in the musical theater fandom for a very good reason. That it just is really freaking stupid. And it is. 10 years of my life where I could have been interested in it at some point, but I had heard the songs and kind of like just meh about it, because I was more of a Stephen Sondheim girly, because
as you should be.
Yes. I passed up the opportunity to see Cats in 2019 at the Kennedy Center with my parents, because I was like, why the hell would I want to go see Cats? Joke's on you, Amanda. So then in 2020, the world is shut down. I'm paying for Broadway HD, which is like this Broadway streaming service that you shouldn't get, because it's like $34 now. I pay $10 for it.
Yeah.
If I was paying $35.
A month?
Right?
A month?
Yeah, and I'm like, half of this crap is stuff you can get on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Like, why on earth, if you're getting
Is it like the Disney Newsies that's on Disney Plus?
No, they don't have that. It's like, Disney. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but the point is, I was like, Cats is on here. I feel like I should watch Cats. And the first time I watched it, I was like, wow, that's the weirdest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. And it made no sense. And then I kept thinking about it. And then, like, coincidentally, Andrew Lloyd Webber was doing the show must go on things. So I watched it again with my group of Broadway friends. Shout out to any of y'all that listen to this. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no. I like this. And so for the next, like, 4 or 5 months, my brain might have been 100% consumed by Cats, the musical, to the point where I was watching every Saturday night for a little while. There was a Discord where you could watch a different version of Cats with a group. And I was doing that.
Like different languages?
Some of them were different languages. Some of them were English. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was doing that solid 3 months. Yeah. It was a choice. I kind of miss it for reasons that I'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, and then, yeah, I'm like into Cats, and it's really, really frustrating because it's really bad and it's really stupid and it makes no sense. But also, like, these damn cats consume like a good 30% of my brain. I have 10 pages of notes, guys. I have 10 pages of notes.
Here are my notes for this musical. I was upset that it took more than 1 page. Because this is what I use for all my notes for podcasts. Okay, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. And I just want to, like Amanda knows I love loving dumb shit because, like, despite it being dumb, that is, like, a third of the things I love are dumb. Shout out to Love Island, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, this is your version of watching The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Really I also find it a little bit funny because you are, like, almost definition of a cat person.
Yeah.
Like, almost to a T. Like, almost, not the most person I know that is a cat person. I just find that really, not ironic, but almost ironic in, like, just a really pleasing way. I'm like, of course, Amanda loves Cats the musical. She loves cats.
I mean, but, you know, a lot of people I know love cats, and they do not love Cats the musical.
No, I'm not saying, okay, just because you love cats does not mean you're a cat person. Like, in a stereotypical vibe way. You're a cat person in a stereotypical vibe way, and you love cats, because I love cats, but I also love dogs and lots of other animals. Like, I'm not a cat person vibe-wise either, right?
Yeah. You're more like a dog mom.
I was for a while, I guess vibe-wise, because I was...
I mean, you still have dog mom vibes. You just also have cats.
Yeah, I just love cats. Oh, yeah. Anyways, let's talk about the musical and not about pets, shall we?
Are you sure?
So the recording of it, it opens up with these close-ups of what are cat eyes, and, like, I think this is one part. Okay, the marketing design of the, like, the poster of cats, cool, all black thing with cat eyes, but the not the irises, is what's the black part of your eye?
Pupil.
The pupil is a cat actor, like, jumping, and that is meta and cool.
It's also a very clever marketing trick. Not that it's actually Andrew Lloyd Webber's idea. It was the people who were like, no one is going to fucking see this if we actually say what it's about. Mm-hmm. Let's just make it cat eyes, and then people had to, like, go see it to find out, mm-hmm. which is why it is the 5th longest running musical in Broadway history.
Mm-hmm. What's the first?
Oh, it was Phantom for a while.
Yeah,
I would have to look.
Okay, I was just curious if you knew.
Cats is for tourists who have never seen Cats.
Fair. All these eyes, like, are everywhere, and I will say this recording of it, because, like, I've seen recordings of other musicals like Hamilton, etc., of stage productions, and, like, they do have, like, really cool close-ups, which we don't get when you're going to a theater. So, like, a recording of a musical as a medium is different than an actual musical in the theater, mm-hmm. right? But what Cats does that other productions or recordings of productions I've seen that other ones don't do is they add, like, really bad late 90s like, special effects, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyways, I loved it, including the cat eyes. They're all over the stage, and then as the actors are coming on stage in, like, the shadows, they, like, disappear, and I was like, that nice.
See, despite the fact that I've watched this too many times to admit, I've never noticed that they, like, disappear. I always thought they were just hiding in different, like, spots of those things.
And they, like, so, like, as the cats, like, come in, they like disappear with them, and like in post-production it's not like how it would be on the stage, right?
Oh, okay.
So the cats come out and start dancing. Before we start talking about the songs,
We gotta start talking about Demeter, who's the first cat to
okay, before we even get there, can I just describe what they look like without so like also Cats is like, it is such an iconic, better for worse, iconic musical that's been referenced over and over. It's been a Family Guy. It's been an Alf. Fucking David Dobrik made a reference to Cats in one of his vlogs, right? Like, it's
Phineas and Ferb.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Like the things go on and on. School of Rock. We have Miranda, what's her face, sing Memory.
Everybody sings Memory. That was in Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, so like it's everywhere, right? So everyone knows what the cats look like. But when you're watching 2 hours of these people close up, here's a description that I can best describe. It's like they are aerobics teachers from the 80s that got mutated with furries, because they're like in sexy skin tight suits with arm warmers and leg warmers.
Yep.
Their makeup, great. The cat makeup is cool. The hair and the hair pieces are awful.
They're made out of yak hair. With the only one whose hair isn't made out of yak hair, the only one whose hair is not made out of yak hair is Grisabella.
Okay, so before Amanda came over, I texted her and I was like, I'm not going to do any research because I know you'll have it. And Amanda quote said, I have like, I'm going to look up the message. Let's see what you said.
I don't have thinky research.
Yeah, I don't have thinky research. This bitch just dropped the fact that it's made out of yak hair. Okay, I was on the Wikipedia and it didn't tell me.
So here's the thing. I don't even remember. I think I read that on the TV tropes page.
So it may or may not be true?
No, it's true. It's also, we talked about it in the like, we talked about, actually, okay, it was on the Cats Wikia.
Okay.
Because I went looking for something else.
Yeah.
And they have sources.
No, I trust Cats Wikia.
More
I want to
than
be
TV
fair.
Tropes?
I have never been on that website. You just talk about it constantly. I know fandom wiki pages are pretty accurate because there's so many fandoms that are so pedantic and assholes about it that like which is great for sources.
Yeah,
great for sources.
No, so it really is made like Grisabella, and it was like talking about Grisabella because I was like trying to find the like full poem.
Yeah,
and also I fell down a rabbit hole, but
not surprised. Anyways, just to continue to describing this because for the random person who has never seen Cats, Imagine if a cat human was hanging out with David Bowie circa The Labyrinth. Like, they all look like they could be creatures in The Labyrinth. Also aerobics teachers.
It's also really fun in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
So circling back to the like thing that Cats does that a lot of like filmed musical productions don't do, the direction of this was really, really smart in a lot of ways because Cats...
Of the recording or the musical itself? Just for
the recording.
Recording, got it.
Yeah, the direction of the recording was really smart because they edited and changed a bunch of the like way that the actors were supposed to move on stage.
Oh, absolutely.
Like...
Yeah. It's very filmic, like it's very cinematic.
Yes. And like Janessa talked about when she saw it as a kid, like they jumped into the audience. There's a lot of cats just walking through the audience. And obviously there's no audience when you're filming it.
Yeah.
So they changed all those different parts. And we could talk about it more when we get there. Or we cannot, because, you know, we might be here for 6 hours.
We is strong. We're there. I mean, you will talk about it for 6 hours. Again, I have 1 page of notes plus 7 lines on the next page.
The other thing I really like is the way that they keep it like wide shot for the big dancing scenes, because a lot of musicals, like I'm looking at you, Newsy, specifically because you're terrible at this. They do all these close-ups and zoom-ins during the big dance numbers, and I'm like, guys, I don't need to look at, God bless him, I don't need to look at Jeremy Jordan's face. He can't dance. I want to see everybody else dancing. Yeah.
No, I think I will say that's one of the nice, like the fun part. one of the fun parts about watching this afternoon was like they're filming it in a very smart way to make Cats seem cooler than it is. Barely. Like, I wasn't convinced, but I was like, they're trying. And I really appreciated that.
It was a good way to translate what would happen if you were seeing it live. And actually, the third note I wrote down was, I deeply regret passing up the chance to see this live, because it also came to one of the performance centers near us, and I didn't go. And I should have.
You should have.
I really should have.
It opens with the first song, which is...
It's Jellicle Songs for Jellicle Cats.
Jellicle Songs for Jellicle Cats.
Before it opens up, though, there's the one single cat that like walks onto the stage. And this is something that I'm kind of going to circle back to a lot, because one of my favorite things about cats, as like, you know, somebody who is deeply engrossed in all the fandom and lore, is all the character choices and all the like backstory that each of the actors gives to their own character. The Jacob Brent, who's the guy who plays Mr. Mistopheles, he did like a watch party where he like did commentary, because you know, it got really big in COVID because nobody had anything to do. And he talked about how like the female cat that kind of like first pops up and like really has the big moment, quote unquote, like where you actually see her before the songs really start and all the other cats come in. Her name's Demeter. And the story that they wrote or talked about or improvised when they were going through these rehearsals was, it was her first night at the junkyard, and like she had just escaped macavity. And so you can see that like character work in all of her interactions. And it's really cool.
I think adding so much lore to each character, because there's like each cat in the ensemble has a name that is not mentioned in the poem if they're not directly tied to a poem. Right? Which I think is so smart to do, because spoiler, there's barely a plot in this musical. And so it has to be, and it is just character based. It's just character, not analysis. So just character introductions.
In the
constantly.
Wikipedia article that I just read before this, Andrew Lloyd Webber, one of his initial pitches was like a character review, which this is. It's a musical review. And then he saw the missing poem Grisabella, and he was like, oh no, we can make a whole musical out of this with a plot. And I'm like, okay. Character work in terms of what the actors do. They actually all are given 3 words to sort of help them characterize their character.
Nice.
Yeah, like every single one of them that, you know, says Jellicle Songs with Jellicle Cats, they have 3 words that they use to sort of build their performance around. And I think I don't know if it's like unique to every performance or if it's just like something that comes in the script. But it's just, you know, and you can see it. It's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Are we ready for the first song? My first note is I just wrote, words don't matter. Words don't matter. Just dance. Yeah. And honestly, unless you are into the lore, like Amanda is, if you want to watch this musical and you're not under the substance of something that makes your brain just say, words don't matter, just dance, please go into this thinking, the words don't matter, just the dance.
It's basically ballet.
It is. It's ballet. 80s ballet.
It's ballet with words. Like the best part about Cats, especially if you're not a weirdo who's really into the lore, again, 10 pages of notes, it's just the dancing. It's like really fun dancing.
Yeah, definitely.
Like my next note is Monkstrap, my beloved. He's the one that leads like the Jellicles.
Okay, in this first song, a boot drops.
Yeah.
Why?
Honest to God, don't know.
Also, it was really big. So, like, okay. This is one of the things I had with the set is fun because it's like dumpster, trash, yard, etc. That's fun.
Except the car. That's confusing.
So, okay, but like Cats, all of the like dancers are around the same size as like humans, like average human dancer height. But all the different like props they had were not like the same kind of proportion to what would be to a generic real life cat, but also not proportion of what they should be. So like if you had a tire and a shoe, the proportions to each other were not the same as they should be. I don't know. It just threw me off whenever I saw them with prop interactions. I was like, this is slightly off and it's bothering me.
I disagree.
That's fine.
Because I feel like, with the exception of the car, because like the car's way too small to be like an actual size car in comparison to the cat.
And it's not a Barbie car, which is the only car that would be that size to them.
I feel like the props make sense to me. I actually really like the props.
No, I like the props. I'm saying I like the props. I just didn't like the proportion was being weird.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's just like the proportions were off, and that was wrong. But I liked, like, they had to have props because, like, the words don't matter. They had to have something else besides dance. They had the makeup and the hair. Yeah.
This song is very much Pete Cats, and listening to this,
it's one of the ones I actually know.
Watching this opening number, if you don't like the opening number, you should just kind of go. Mm-hmm. Just flat out, like. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's basically telling you everything that you need to know. It's just that this is full-grown adult people who get paid probably not enough for this shit.
Yeah.
Going out there and dressing like cats, wearing yak fur, and dancing while they sing at you about how they're Jellicle songs for Jellicle cats.
Yeah.
Are you blind when you're born? Just different things that cats do.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. I really enjoy seeing, like, the quote-unquote main cats, like, before they're, like, really costumed up. Like, you know, Rum Tum Tugger's actor and Jenny Annie Dots, like, kind of just sitting in there. And then...
the next song is The Naming of the Cats, which is essentially where they're whisper chanting about how cats have different names. And I wrote down, these adults are cult members.
They full out are.
And, like, in a world, if I saw... adults in this costuming whisper chanting a song on a YouTube video, I'd be like, oh, it's a furry cult. No shame to furries. Live your life.
Yeah.
Not near me.
This is a song that you may already know, but this is where they would be crawling through the audience, which is why the staging is so weird for them all just being clumped up in there, because normally they would move through the audience.
Yeah.
T.S. Eliot would also hate this because they move so fucking weird all the time. The first time I saw this musical, my brain was like, this is fucking weird. I'm about to turn this shit off. And the only reason I didn't is because it was Sunday afternoon and I had nothing else to do because it was COVID. And I had watched all the other TV shows I wanted to watch.
Yeah. I didn't like the Naming of the Cat song because, again, the whispering cult.
It's really, of it all. It's so freaking weird.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah. Ugh. Then we get to the Jellicle Ball.
I can name all the cats. Is that a problem?
Yes. And a talent. And with the right group of people, it's a really cool party trick, because I can't name any of them. Besides the ones that have songs after them.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I can tell because I said Monkstrap and you were like, who? And I'm like, no, Monkstrap. He's really important.
I mean, I saw at the end, they did a little, like...
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, those are the names. And then the Wikipedia. But anyways, the next song is Jellicle Ball, or The Invitation to the Jellicle Ball. And
actually, there's an important part here. This here is where Victoria comes in. Victoria is like...
Victoria's the white cat.
The white cat, the ballerina cat. She does this gorgeous solo after the naming of the cats, where she separates out from everybody else, and she just has such perfect control as she, like, shakes up her leg, because it, you know, the implication in the lore is that she's a very young cat and this is the first time that she's really experiencing this. And then Mistopheles comes and he starts the ball, and this is where one of the theories is that they're siblings.
Interesting. So Victoria, the white cat, stands out because it's the only cat that is not one that is one color. Everyone else is a mixture of colors for the most part. Like, I think there might be a black cat or two, or like a mostly brown cat. Yeah. Anyways, she doesn't have a song after her. So the fact that you know all of this is just, I wanted to say this is us. Like, we have two different perspectives: someone who knows nothing, someone who knows too much. And I just want to know for all the other people who also know nothing. You don't get that from the musical. All you know is that there's a cult and they are singing and dancing. The dancing is fantastic, but the singing, weird. The whisper singing, not fan of. Anyways,
but to be fair, there is like a really fun metaphor in her, like, doing this dance, even if you don't know, like, what her deal is. And if you want to think about it, you can.
I did not get a metaphor from the dance. I just thought pretty.
I mean, fair.
It's hard to get metaphors from dances that are that short between chaotic, words don't matter songs.
Anyway, Invitation to Jellicle Ball.
Invitation to Jellicle Ball. This is where we get our, quote, plot. Kind of. The Jellicle Cats meet once a year to choose who gets to go to the Heaviside Lair to die and then be reborn again.
Yeah. Again, doubling down on the whole death cult thing.
It's a cult.
Not even just a cult, it's a death cult. They are singing to choose who gets to die.
Yes. And they're having a ball about it.
Yes.
Gumby Cat. So this song is about a cat who, like, we talked about it a lot in the poem, and we went into this poem specifically a lot. So, like, again, go listen to the poetry stuff to get the actual, like, poem lore. It's not the musical lore because there's different worlds. This song I liked because musically, not content-wise, because, again, it's problematic due to it being by T.S. Eliot. But musically, I liked it because half of it is, what's the dude who sings in this one?
Monkstrap.
Thank you. Monkstrap is singing, and it's like kind of like a forlorn kind of song, like slower,
like lazy, like I have a Gumby cock.
Yeah, and then it switches, and it's like these three like backup singer vibe cats who are like,
it's Demeter and Bomblerina.
There's three cats.
I don't remember the third one.
There's three of them. She doesn't know all the cats. She lied to us.
I don't remember who the third one is. I know it's Demeter and Bomblerina.
I know you're saying you don't know all of them.
I do know all the cats. I just don't know I can't remember what the third one looks like right now.
We caught her. She's flustered. They're all like 1940s, like
it's a little like swingy song. It's fun.
I liked it, and then
because it's like it matches the vibe of the poem because it has this fun little indentations, which is something I alluded to last time. Is like, oh, that was like a real reason, not just Andrew Lloyd Webber being boring. Also, fun little character moment. Mistopheles. You know, the little black and white cat. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know him because he has a song.
Yeah, he has a song.
He like as Monkstrap like goes to like introduce the song, he like gets really excited and he like perks up to like introduce himself, and then Monkstrap gives him the side eye like a Gumby cat in mind. I'm not singing about you, you little child. Go away. It's adorable.
I wrote, so in the song, the Gumby cat, she at night bosses around mice and cockroaches, and I wrote down, imagine going through all the like hair and makeup to get into the cat costume just to have to put on a fucking like mask of a mouse and or cockroach. Like, imagine just like, I'm sitting here for, it has to take so long to put all that makeup and prosthetic hair on, right? Or the wigs, whatever. And then 10 minutes into this musical, you're covering it up.
Yep. Which, to be fair, they take off a lot of costumes. And
no, yeah. The costume changes, like, at first I was like, they're not going to do costume changes. And then, like, as I'm watching, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, they are.
Yeah.
Specifically, like, Jenny Anydots, who is the name of the Gumby cat, has, like, this really big puffy coat. And then, like, until like when they start talking about the cockroaches, they rip it off to reveal like this like cute little shaggy thing that fun. She does like tap dancing.
Yeah, the tap dancing was fun. Yeah, I like the tap dancing.
It's actually significantly longer in like the original in the musical because they cut it down for the show. Is the actual musical is even longer, and every time like I like this. Don't get me wrong. Again, 10 pages of notes, and most of it is me just sitting there being like, "Oh, look at so and so doing such and such thing in the background." Yeah. The first time I watched it, I was like, "This is like 10 minutes too long."
Yeah.
Oh, it's Cassandra.
Okay, I can get behind Demeter being a name because like that sounds like that's not like a weird name because it's a real name, obviously. Like the other names are just fucking bonkers. Victoria I can get behind because this is a British ass play, Queen Victoria. Cassandra, I mean, that is Greek though, I guess. So they probably were just like Demeter and Cassandra are both Greek names.
Well, Demeter's in the poem.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, a lot of them are in the poems. Like Bomblerina, Jelliorum.
Well, those ones I figured that were from the poem because they sound like nonsense words.
But Augustus and Alonzo are also in there. And George.
Is there a cat named George?
Yeah, there's a cat named George. I think
you understand though, right? These normal ass plain bread, white bread British names next to literal gibberish. Right? You understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, can we move on?
Yeah.
Rum Tum Tugger.
Sexy rocker cat.
This cat is This cat is giving see you next Tuesday. This cat's giving cunt. He is cunty as fuck. He is see you next Tuesday as fuck, dude. This cat, I was like, this cat, I remember what he looks like because I know the references and from when I was a kid and when I last watched it when I was intoxicated with something. But like I remembered it briefly, but I did not remember how hard this song slaps. This man is a hoe, and I love him.
I love Rum Tum Tugger. When I actually again, first time I watched this, after being so weirded out by Name of the Cats, Jenny Any Dots, I was like, okay, this is a thing. This is just the vibe. Rum Tum Tugger, I'm like, oh, oh, okay. Is this hot? I don't. I love again, the character choices. I'm so tired of saying that because you're going to be tired of me talking by the end of this.
I've known you for years, Amanda.
That's true.
Gotta say, musically, Rum Tum Tugger, and musically and his characteristics, to me, it was like a cross between Danny Zuko from Grease and Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror. It was like a really good combination, and
so do you want to know the inspiration?
Yes.
Mick Jagger.
Makes sense.
Mick Jagger, and then in the 90s, because at that point, it was kind of outdated, 20 years in, they called him MC Street Cat and tried to make him like a rapper.
Oh, no. I mean, that's fine to try to, I'm all about musicals trying to adapt to become more relevant. Cats is the one musical that should not ever try to be relevant because it's based off of such a fucking weird and bad poem collection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's already behind the times before its inception, right? So, don't do it. But I do know, I'm pretty sure Jason Derulo plays Rum Tum Tugger in the movie that we will be watching eventually. And, he's a good singer. And he is charismatic. But he's not going to be as cunty as this guy.
Look, I am, oh God. Listeners, because Janessa already knew about this, if you thought I was going to be weird about the musical, I'm going to be really mad about the movie in a way that's deeply uncomfortable.
You haven't even watched it yet.
Yes.
What if you enjoy it?
I won't.
What if?
Okay.
What if? You don't know the future.
I've seen clips of it.
I wish we could watch the butthole cut. Anyways, Rum Tum Tugger. So the song fucking slaps. There's electric guitar for most of it. It's good.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's one also, that I honestly might put on in the car.
It's really fun. Again, Andrew Lloyd Webber knows how to write a good tune.
Yeah.
It's just the same tune a lot.
Yeah.
Do you want to know a fun fact about the scene from Jacob Brent?
Sure.
You know that part where Rum Tum Tugger kicks the ball and Misto doesn't catch it?
No.
There's a part where he doesn't catch it. He was supposed to catch the ball, and they used one of the takes where he didn't, just to fuck with him.
Nice.
Also, Rum Tum Tugger normally would dance with people in the audience. So that
sexually?
No, just spinning them around.
Okay.
I don't know. That's beyond my purview. I just know that that's an audience participation part that's pretty famous. So the part where he
You need to stop with audience participation. Because here's my thing about audience participation. It equally makes me so anxious, but then I also am I must be chosen. I am half and half because I want to be. I am a Leo, and is astrology real? Probably not. But goddamn, do I want my time in the spotlight when I don't really want it? Mm-hmm. That's why I'm a Leo.
Yeah. There's that weird 30 seconds where he's just running around and he slides down the car and interrupts two people and kisses Demeter and does all this stuff that you clearly don't know what I'm talking about, just by the look on your face.
I mean, I just was watching him be a sexy cat and being why? And then I was like, it's okay, he's a human. I can get past it.
So I also really love this song because it just really does perfectly characterize Tugger, because it's just this so outwardly gregarious and seemingly superficial, interrupting other people's songs, getting in the way of everybody. It's just such a fun way to interpret that poem for a actor.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Grisabella, the sad the sad cat pops up and the vibe immediately drops.
So the next song is Grisabella, and this is based off the Lost poem?
It's based off of a poem that he didn't publish in the book because it was too sad.
Gotcha. So, okay, so we have, plot-wise, just to keep everyone on track, we have these cats, and they're trying to decide who they want to kill, sacrifice for their cult.
They get to decide who gets to die.
Yes. And then we have some songs where like getting introduced to all the options essentially / just getting to know these cats. We have Rum Tum Tugger we just talked about, who is essentially like, I do what I fucking want and you can't tell me about it, and also I'm gonna be hot while I do it, and I'm gonna want you, but as soon as you say yes, I'm gonna go away. Like that's his vibe. Like he is like a player just like that. Like, but of course, because of society, he is celebrated and loved for it. And then we get Grisella. What is her vibe and backstory? I did not listen. Again, the words don't matter. I just listened to the music. And so, like, so before you explain it, what I got from what I interpreted just based off no to little knowledge is that she was once a beautiful star and had all the attention when she was young, but then she got old. So I'm like, okay, is it just because she got old, but also like they like outcast her and like are like seems like similar to like what would be like slut shaming an old lady kind of was the vibe, and like I don't know which is true. What is the backstory?
Okay, so first of all, there is no backstory.
I know, but what does she sing in her song? Or about what do they sing about her? Oh, this is she's raggedy. That's right. They say
they just sing that she's raggedy, and like she used to be the glamour cat, and she was long past her prime, and that's what you got out of the song, which is like the only thing that we canonically get. Yeah. Now, fan theory wise, there's lots of things to get into. Like circling back for a second to talk about Rum Tum Tugger again. Yes. I mentioned that like a very very popular fan theory is that he and Monkstrap are brothers, and that's
Monkstrap is the one that talks a lot but doesn't have a song, right?
Yes, okay. He's called the protector of the tribe and the storyteller of the thing. So his role is to just kind of like guide through the night, and you know, every time there's a Macavity threat, he jumps to the forefront and like starts posturing. So it's also like a fun little way to read into their dynamic because like Monkstrap is visibly annoyed by Rum Tum Tugger all the time. And that's why he gives older sibling vibes constantly. Whereas Rum Tum Tugger just is trying to get everyone to look at him because younger sibling vibes. Branching off of that, a very common popular fan theory is that Grisabella is actually Monkstrap's mom and Deuteronomy's old mate. Building off of that again, also possibly Tugger's mom. But the general understanding in the fandom is she at some point was part of the Jellicle tribe and then abandoned them or left them. Commonly, it's assumed that she was working with Macavity in some way. I have a personal theory, but the common theory is like, oh, she was a prostitute and that's why they were a thing.
That's like the vibe the musical gives off.
But actually, a writer, somebody who was involved with the musical, maybe it was like a director, or maybe it was just somebody who was like, why would they slut shame her? They're all over each other all the time. And they literally have a cat orgy in the middle of this musical. Yeah. Why on earth would they like slut shame her? Yeah. And so that's like a theory that is just our interpretations that's gotten debunked. Another theory is that she has like fleas or mange or just something that's why they won't touch her. Yeah. Personally, I think it's I think she just betrayed the tribe at some point in time, left to go on to bigger and greater things, and now she's just coming back for the Jellicle choice, and they're all like, dude, you haven't been here to support us in years. Why are you coming now? Yeah.
Side question that has nothing to do with this. Did you ever read the Warriors books? Okay. So it's like your like intensity about this was giving kid who was obsessed with the Warrior books. I did not read any of them. Also, they're shelved. This is a side note on this side note. At the library in the town I live in, I'm not going to say, at that public library, the Warriors books are shelved in YA. All 50 plus of them. And I'm like, this is middle grade bullshit. And I love middle grade books. That's middle grade bullshit. Love that. If you read them and you loved them, that's fine. You're allowed to read bullshit. But like...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I never read them. I mean, part of it was like, I just wasn't...
You weren't into that. We've had this cover. I was curious that because the cats.
Yeah, I know. The
cats
I get really intense about the cats lore. Like, I wrote a full half page just talking about like the interplay of touch and how like it's so sad that she's so isolated from, because they're all over each other all the time. And the way that like Demeter wants to reach out and touch her and then doesn't. And
that's what I was gonna say. Like, so Grisabella, this song, like they like are talking about how she's gross and don't talk to her. But Demeter, I guess, is the cat, like keeps trying to, but they keep stopping her from doing that.
She keeps reaching out and then stopping herself at the last minute. The kittens are the one that they straight up like push away from her.
There are kittens. The audience is supposed to know, besides the literally gray ones, the 3 elders that we specifically know are old. They're kittens. This musical is called Cats, not Cats and Kittens.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if they're like technically kittens, but they're referred to as like the younger ones, and that's how they're characterized, and that's how their 3 words are, so they're called the kittens in the Cats fandom.
Okay. This is the song where I noticed that on their gloves, a lot of the female cats have really pretty manicures attached to the gloves, and I was like, drag queens. Drag queens. Anyways.
And Grisabella has these
red
like,
nails.
Yeah, red nails.
And red nails, as we all know, because my grandma tells me whenever I pay my nails, are for unkept women.
Yeah. I mean, I really do understand where that interpretation comes from. It's just like...
And because they're humans pretending to be cats.
Yeah.
If they were literal cats, like if this was a cartoon, probably wouldn't have hit that way.
Yeah.
Because...
But also like the dress that she's wearing underneath it, where it's like really black and like she has that really raggedy coat over it. Mm-hmm. She just looks like
that could be her backstory.
Picture this. We've just sang a whole song about a woman who is isolated and left alone from the tribe. Nobody will really even touch her. They barely will look at her. And then it goes, Bustopher Jones.
Bustopher Jones, still a bomb-ass name, and I stand by this. I said this in the Pillow podcast. This song, no thoughts. All I wrote was, Monocle is working. Monocle is getting that dollar.
Yeah.
The rest of it, I don't fucking care about this cat.
I wrote exactly 3 notes. The transition cracks me up. Bomblerina, her face throughout the entire thing, where she's like, in fact, he's remarkably fat. Mm-hmm. Just love her in general. Mm-hmm. And then I think Bustopher is Mistopheles' uncle. That's my fan theory. It's also a very common fan theory because Bustopher is a gay uncle.
He's Gunko. Bustopher is Gunko. Okay, now I'm into Bustopher.
He's clear. Like, can you imagine him actually like having a partner and children, a female partner and children?
No, because he's a fucking cat, dude.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, fair.
Anyways.
So this is where we have our first McCavity scare.
Yes. Okay. Question. McCavity.
Yeah.
One, there's a joke about eating too many sweets and having my cavity somewhere in there. 2, does McCavity have the power of lightning?
Yeah, kind of.
And also, yeah, that's just that. Like, this is the first part I wrote McCavity ? Lightning god ? And that's all I wrote.
So McCavity is commonly assumed in the fandom to have some kind of mystical powers. Different versions of the production.
I just want you to take a second and like observe us from like above and just like think about, like, take a step back in your brain.
No, literally, I have a joke at the end of this. But anyway, so like in the 2016 Broadway revival, they actually play with him having hypnosis powers, which you see a little touch of here in the 1990s.
Do you?
Well, the way that he like waves his hand in front of their faces, like, and then they like look stunned for half a minute, and then Monkstrap has to like shake it. Maybe it's only noticeable if you've watched it 13 times.
I'm pretty sure that is the case.
But anyway, in the 2016 revival on Broadway, which was not eligible for a Tony because it was basically a replica production because Cameron McIntosh is a fuckhead and he's basically like, I only want replica productions. And I'm like, I think you're just boring.
Anyways,
there's a version that like takes place at a circus. It's totally different vibe. It's really cool. He basically like leads the dance in front and has them all following him in the background, and that's all it is.
Okay.
And
Anyways,
it's cool.
we have our McCavity scare, and then we get to, I cannot say this name. These names I cannot say. Mungo Jerry,
Mungo Jerry, and Rumple Teaser.
Here are my notes, is that I like the necklace and the t-shirt. Like, I like the costuming. I think, like, they did a great job of making this poem come to life in this song, because I was like, I was having no new thoughts besides just the, like, awe and horror of watching cats. But, like, I was having, with this song particularly, I had no new thoughts from what I had with the poem. It was like, these are cats I had growing up. Is that they're constantly wreaking havoc, but only when you're not looking, and you don't know which one did it, and you're like, one of you fuckers knocked over that vase.
Fun fact.
Yes. Are they dating? Are they siblings?
I don't know. What? No, because like literally this version I watched, somebody have like a 3-part Tumblr post debating this very fact about whether they were siblings or whether they were dating. I prefer them as siblings. However,
Siblings makes more sense character-wise.
God, so
words just came out of my mouth, guys. I think I'm being taken over. I think Amanda's part of the cult, and she's making me convert.
I don't know how to be. I couldn't be part of a cult. I couldn't lie.
Cults don't make you lie.
Oh, okay.
They brainwash you, dude. They're not lying. They truly believe that.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, maybe I could be.
Cult leaders lie.
Oh,
you would never be a cult leader. Would I? Absolutely.
Yeah. We've talked about this. You want to lead a commune.
Yes.
But a commune is not a cult.
Thank you for being my PR.
Well, it's a reference to an argument that we had once. Anyway. So to actually answer your question, nobody really knows, because it really depends, like, it's a character choice that those two get to make. Mm-hmm. People who have watched the 1998 version and wrote the 3-part Tumblr post insist that they're mates for various reasons, and I'm like, that really weirds me out. I only see them as siblings.
Okay. So, like,
it's also very common.
I just want to, again, clarify. There's no relation to any cats to each other besides just being a part of this tribe based off just the musical.
Yes.
The fan theories. I love fan theories.
Just
on fan theories that I also care about. So, like, I understand that I'm not, like, caring about this because I don't care about it, and that's just how it is with my brain. But I will say, this play or this musical, like, we haven't got there yet, but the cats are so sexually charged that, like, if these two were mates in this solo about themselves, they would be humping each other. And they do not hump each other. Later on, cats get humped.
Okay, so, like, I want to quibble with one thing you said really quickly.
Okay.
Old Deuteronomy, due to the line in the song speaking about numerous progeny, it's a very safe assumption that, like, is in the text. That's not, like, a thing that people say, that he's parent to some of these children.
Okay. Yes. But that's not what I was... That was what my point was about.
Yes,
the point was about these different family relations that people are making up without any context besides just...
Also, fun fandom lore. A lot of people also just sit there and they're like, Mungo Jerry's gay and Rumple Teaser's a lesbian, and I will take no notes.
Yeah, that's how fans work.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I do this for the stuff I care about. I was like, I fully, like, no fault to you and people who do this, because I do this with the fan theories that I love. And that's totally acceptable. I'm just saying, as an outsider, like, I'll often get an outsider perspective on, like, bonkers fandoms because I usually have, like, a foot in them. I've been a Taylor Swift fan since I was young, so for context. But, like, I'm just, like, suddenly, for the first time, being, like, an outsider on these intense fandoms. And I'm like, shit, is this how I sound? That's why I keep having these big reactions. It's like, you don't answer this. That's not a question. It was just a thought.
Or it's a rhetorical question.
No, it was just a thought I was having.
Anyway, I love oh my god, I'm gonna start doing this. Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser. They're one of my favorites, just because I think they're fucking adorable. I love the faces that they're making the whole time. I love their dynamic of like clearly very close, whatever again,
they're besties.
They're
whatever they are.
besties, whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
There were 3 different versions of this song.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best version, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The West End version is this like jazzy, low tempo like song. And that's the one that's in the 2019 version.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
On the Broadway cast album,
Mm-hmm.
this is a show within a show that Mistopheles puts on. And Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser are trash puppets.
Okay.
It's the same song, it's just that they don't sing it. It's they do trash puppets with his magic powers.
Okay. Next up, we have Old Deuteronomy, who I refer to as Dude because I didn't want to write Deuteronomy. Old Deuteronomy is the eldest cat. He's the biggest cat. He wears this huge shaggy coat. His mane is huge.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, the song is essentially everyone's like, we love Deuteronomy. He's the oldest one. He's guiding us. Like, he's the leader.
He's the cult leader. Yeah,
he's the leader. Like, even Sexy Rum Tum like respects him. Like, at one point, like, they're like, everyone's bowing / at like Deuteronomy's feet, and he looks over at Rum Tum, and Rum Tum like bows his head a little bit. And it's like, you got Playboy on your side.
So first time I watched this, I was like having a good time for the most part, and then all of a sudden during Old Deuteronomy I started crying because I just really, really like the duet between Monkstrap.
The duet's really good.
The duet is really good.
Duet is,
and
is really good.
And it's also like, again, this is fandom stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you view it from the lens of them being like brothers and him being his father, their father, like, it's really, really nice to see them have this moment of like characterizing each other and singing about their dad in unison, which is the only time that they're like actually on the same side.
Yeah.
And it's just really touching in that way. And again, like you said, Monkstrap starts singing his song. And then as Tugger interrupts, there's a brief moment where Monkstrap like looks over at him and is like, oh my God, what are you going to do now? And then he just starts singing too. And it's like a great moment of Monkstrap being like, oh, maybe you don't suck all the time. And it's great.
I didn't get any of that. I was just like, this is a pretty noise. Noise is pretty. Oh, look at it's a big kitty now. Wow.
Oh, also in this particular production, Mistopheles is also Jacob Brent. He said that he pictured himself as Deuteronomy's son as well, and that's how he played it, which is bad for me personally for reasons later on. But you know what? We'll get there.
Okay. The next song is it's the awful battle of the peaks and the polycules, which we talked about in the poem. The song's racist. They didn't edit out the words. They could have. They could have. They were allowed to.
The only reason that the really racist one isn't in this production is because they cut it for time. Otherwise, you know damn well Andrew Lloyd Webber would have been totally fine with making them say a racial slur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, again, fuck that guy.
Yeah. The only fun part about the song to me was the costumes when they're pretending to be dogs. I thought the idea of this cat cult going through the trash and then having an arts and crafts session to make dog costumes in order to just like at this ball celebration to do like a ritual remembrance of this battle. Oh wait, I forgot. How did I forget? At the end of this battle, they get saved by what's the cat's name?
The Great Rumpus Cat.
The Great Rumpus Cat.
This is the point where one of my friends in the Broadway group, he just screamed and screamed and screamed.
Also, I screamed. The reason why I screamed is I want to explain this before Amanda does with her lore descriptions. Is out of nowhere comes a man in a bodysuit, which is normal for this world. Everyone's in a bodysuit. But he turns around. It's all black. He turns around, and there's a big, like, superhero, like, Superman R on his chest. And he's wearing red flashing glasses.
Yep.
And his hair is going bonkers. And the hair gets fanned and, like, moves a bit. A literal superhero.
Yeah. Yeah.
This... like, I can't... Like, I'm not doing it justice of how fucking wild and fucking weird this is. Like, why did they do superhero? This was a story that was taking place in England. They could have had some Sherlock Holmes looking detective fucker cat come out and be the savior, and everyone would be like, that makes sense. This guy has a smoke pipe and a weird hat. He's a hero. You know, we don't need a literal superhero whose goggles are flashing. The flashing goggles really got to me.
Okay, in all fairness,
Is he wear flashing goggles in the poem? Did I miss this?
no, but his eyes were like fireballs, fearfully blazing.
Okay, they can just have red glasses.
Yeah.
They don't need to be flashing like cheapo, like 4th of July glasses.
Yeah,
is what it looked like.
I mean, you're not wrong. It
there's
is
better
a
ways
choice.
for all this really, honestly, like for the time, these like really cool costuming, like thought through costuming. No thought there.
Well, and I know you said the wigs look really bad, but they're just meant to like
The
make 'em
wigs look bad. They don't look like cats, and I stand by that. They look
Okay.
like weird lions, and their ears get weird.
That's fair.
They look feline.
Yeah.
They look feline, and the makeup really good for cat makeup. But
You also have to keep in mind that, you know, distance, theater. You're not supposed to be as close to it as you are.
I understand. It still doesn't look like a cat because there's barely any other fur on their body, so it looks like a shaved cat, which is not how cats usually look.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Um,
Anyways,
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah. So I did not understand this song for a bunch of years. And for a bunch of years, I mean like twice. And then I went to the YouTube section on The Show Must Go On, and then somebody was basically sitting there and describing how poor Monkstrap is like trying to organize a play and all of his actors keep fucking it up. And now that's all I think about every time I watch
that's at
it.
the very end. Like he keeps repeating a line over and over to try and get them.
It's very different things. It's a couple of different things that I will now explain to you at length. He gets annoyed at Mungo Jerry because he gets offbeat with the barks. So he starts like
Yeah, that's the
cueing
part.
him.
Yeah.
And then he's frustrated because like the Rumpus Cat misses his entrance. And then
Honestly,
also
yeah.
like they aren't following the formation choreography properly when they're wearing their costumes because one of them is wearing them. And then he's trying to hold one of them back so that he can do the proper blocking. And then they're all just fighting and not like listening.
Yeah.
So that's when he like loses his temper and like
So you see, kids, even the choreographer will self-insert himself into a play. So when you self-insert yourself into your fan fiction, just know professionals are doing this at the West End.
Yep. It's also kind of funny. It's also kind of cute in a way because like Monkstrap like presents himself as a very like in charge leader, but it's fun to see this moment of frustration where his youth and inexperience come shining through because he keeps looking over at his dad for approval, and it's like adorable.
I did not get any of that, dude. I also don't think he's a good leader. I just think he wants to talk and explain things. But that's my barely watching it this afternoon take on it.
I mean, we don't really see him do any leading, so I understand.
Yeah. And then we get some more Macavity laughing and thunder. Again, Macavity has the power of thunder. Macavity is Thor. Prove me wrong.
But like evil Thor.
Who said Thor was good?
Ooh, good point.
Who said gods were good? This is not a philosophy podcast, and it will never be because that's gross. Oh, the Jellicle Ball again, right? Or is it, what is it?
Yeah, no, it's the Jellicle Ball. This is the song where this like whole premise of the Jellicle Ball comes out, and it's basically just them saying all the different things that Jellicles are, and then ending in a cat orgy.
Yeah, I said creepy as fuck, and then there was so much groping. Yeah. Yeah.
It's yeah.
And like, I understand trying to be like animals and cats do get around because that's like an issue, like with our animals outside always, but like not necessary in that much groping.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then they're like the little white cat at the beginning, the ballerina. She gets full out like felt up in what's implied to be her first sexual experience, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this is a thing that I am watching. And this is something that I willingly choose to subject myself to. Over and over again.
This is the part where I remembered. This is where I texted my mom, and I was like, I have this memory of us watching Cats. Is that true? I just want to make sure I didn't make this up as a kid. She goes, no, yes, we saw it when we were in Boston on this trip. I was like, okay, I'm glad I didn't make that up. And then I was thinking, my mom, who I've talked about on this podcast before, does not care about fantasy in the most apathetic way. My mom also, like, Loki's allergic to cats and doesn't really like them. Why did my mom bring me to this musical? And this is the part where, like, I could just, like, I could just see my mom watching this and being like, what the well, my mom would not say this, but, like, what the hell is going on? I don't understand this. I wonder if she does. And I probably was just like, they're dancing! Because I also loved ballet at that point. I was in ballet. And so, like, it was a dream. Why. Yeah, that's probably why she brought it. And also, we were in Boston, like, experiences outside Alaska, etc. But, like, But again, my mom watching this?
Nobody knows what Cats is about until they see it, because Cats is about nothing.
Yes. Yeah, but like thinking about my mom watching this, my mom who won't even watch The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe because she doesn't like fantasy.
The part where they break back out into the dance, and Grisabella's trying to join in on the side. It's really sad.
It's sad. Yeah, then we get to where they're bullying and ostracizing Grisabella again, who's just trying to participate, which is tough to do in life.
And then she just can't like evoke the same movement magic, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, but then we get the prelude to Memory, which is like the song everyone knows.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I Memory's not like my favorite musical song ever, but it's a good song, and it's like you can't deny that it's not good, you know.
Yeah,
that's good. But then we get to Act 2,
and then...
we're only halfway through, folks.
Well, and then Deuteronomy sings a song called Moments of Happiness that goes on for like 20 minutes.
It's a sermon.
It's a sermon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote, music is too powerful for no plot. And I was feeling the music here.
And then Jemima joins in, and they all like sit there and they contemplate what Moments of Happiness is. And it's fucking weird.
It sure is. I didn't tell you guys this. I cried while I watched this. But it was during this
Gus, Gus the theater cat is so sad.
It's so sad. So like in the poem itself is sad, right? But like you don't love Gus as much. You're just like, oh, it's this old guy. I know these guys. But here, the actor playing them, what got to me is he's wearing those fingerless gloves and his hands are shaking, and that's what my grandpa was like for the last 10 years of his life. And I just like immediately, before they even started talking about his story, which like I knew because again I've read the poem, like I was just like, fuck, I don't want to care about cats. This cat is like, and the acting is so good. I did not like, what's the cat that sings with him?
That is his. Well, her name is Jelly Orem.
I don't like the actress who plays her. I don't like her voice. She does a good job, like, acting and stuff. I just don't like her voice. It doesn't vibe with me. Like, the tone of it. But,
I think it works for this song, though, because it is, like, a very melancholy song. So it being kind of like this sort of, like, higher pitched and...
No, I understand. It's not, like, a critique or anything. It's just, like, my brain doesn't like it.
Oh, valid.
Yeah, which is how many things are. My brain's like, no. And I'm like, okay. Nothing bad. No hard feelings. It's just my brain's like, nah, on that voice. But, like, here's also my thing with this Gus. So, like, they didn't have to make Gus so heartbreaking and heart-wrenching in this musical, because the poem's not as much. It's just like, oh, it's this old whippersnapper talking about the good old days.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas this, you're like, this has so much emotion, and you feel so much for this guy. And I'm like, and I know who gets chosen because I know the basics of this play. I'm like, why are you telling me about this guy if he's not going to get chosen to die? I have chosen him. He has had a hard life, and if I choose him to win in this weird scenario, isn't winning, that's a philosophical thing. Again, we're not a philosophy podcast.
Despite my best efforts.
Oh, God. You and Isaac. Stop thinking about thinking. Anyways, like...
Actually, okay, I don't know if this is gonna make you feel better or not. I feel the exact same way. I always like I mean, like, I understand why Grisabella's the choice, and I'm glad she gets that acceptance in the end.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. But why make us so sad if he not win? Why make him so sad if he not win? I just love so
Yeah, no, this song is so aggressively sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of messed up. If it makes you feel better.
It won't.
They make him drop a racial slur in their musical. Because he plays Growl Tiger, so he sings the...
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Growl Tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, how many different characters are, like, double, like, this person plays two parts, you know? Because a lot of times musicals do that, you know? Like, a la Hamilton.
So, the principal actors that have their own songs also have a, like, part in the ensemble, like I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Jenny Annie Dots and, like, Tom Rumtug Tugger. Sad Grandpa Cat.
Yeah.
Also looks a little less sad, but has a part in the ensemble earlier. So, if we're not counting those, the actor for Amadeus, which is the cat that dances with Victoria.
The Grobser?
Dances.
Okay, say it. Grobser. Thank you.
He is double casted as the Great Rumpus Cat and then also McCavity.
Okay. I figured that whoever was McCavity was also Great Rumpus.
And then in the stage production, like that part where he says, "I could do it again."
Don't know what that is.
Oh, like at the very, very end of the song when they like have that part where
Who?
it's the guy.
Which one?
The sad one.
Okay, thank you.
The sad theater cat.
Gus.
Thank you.
Because remember, Asparagus is a really good name for a cat. Remember, we had that argument last time, and I stand by it. Anyways.
I call him Sad Grandpa Cat because in the
That's
cat's...
what he is.
Yeah, and in the cat's Discord, we called him Racist Grandpa Cat. So they reference it in this version, but they cut it out, thank God. But they then go into him basically performing Growl Tiger's Last Stand.
Gotcha.
As like a flashback.
And if you didn't listen to the poem part of the podcast, Growl Tiger's Last Stand is a very racist poem that we went into in that part of the episode /episode. Anyways, want to move on to Not Sad Grandpa?
Yeah, then this other transition's also really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Because it basically goes from him, like, watching forlornly as, like, his past self, like, walks off stage.
Yeah, in post. Slowly... like, the Jedis at the end of Star Wars.
And then he, I can't... Does he sit down or walk off?
I don't know. I wasn't paying that close attention.
I mean, fair. But he kind of has the ending of his song, and you're just sitting there being like, oh my God, I just watched a cat with palsy and dementia, like, reminisce about the good old days and all the things that he can't do anymore. And then it goes, skimble shakes.
You guys like trains? They don't. Okay, here's my two notes. One, he has elbow patches on his arm things, and that is class. And two, there's not enough train choreography or mimicking train choreography in this song about a cat who works on the train.
They build the train.
I understood that they built a train. There wasn't enough train. I'm talking to two arms going at your side like a fucking train.
No, but that's silly. He's not riding the train. I mean, he is riding the train.
Amanda, what in this play is not silly?
But it's more about him like he does his little saunter and it's adorable.
I'm not saying I'm not saying about him. I'm saying about as a whole.
But but here's the thing, he's like inside the train. So why would they like do all the stuff outside the train?
Because that's a fun dance move.
These are professionals, Janessa. This song makes me really happy, actually.
I didn't care about the song, honestly.
I know.
I like the elbow patches.
It's really fun and bouncy, and like I just like
it wasn't bad.
I love the expression. I love the expressions on all their faces as they like try to act their way through this cat makeup. It's just fun.
Okay, so the next song we finally get more McCavity. Here's what I wrote, and then Amanda can actually catch us up on what actually quote actually happened. So we hear an evil laugh. More lightning. And then McCavity comes up. McCavity is like, if you were to take Scar from the Lion King and make him into a cat in the cat world, visually, that's what kind of the vibe of his like makeuping and like the color coordinating. He's a freaky looking cat. And I'm saying that in the context of they're all freaky looking. Him and his minions who were wearing like weird masks that you briefly see. I didn't really see what they were. They put a net over Deuteronomy and steal him.
Yes.
Why? Because they're evil?
Okay, so
and I want the fan lore. I want the musical. What's
it's just because he's evil. Okay. He's a leader, and I mean, like, okay, but in all fairness, like, this isn't fan lore shit. Like, I don't know what his actual plan was, but then he does come back out dressed as Deuteronomy
later on
receiving all the like love and attention that Deuteronomy normally receives. So that's kind of
it's just evil.
It's just evil. Some blah blah blah. Some evil plot
in the song, and I guess
it honestly just might be him fucking with them.
Yeah, in the song, and like also in the poem. I guess I missed this. It talks about how he has broken every human law. I'm like, and I was just thinking about all the laws that there were that this cat could have broken.
Did he chew gum in Singapore?
Yeah, or like he didn't pay his taxes. Like there's like not like the bad ones of like murder and other horrific things. I'm talking about the other ones that are just laws.
Yeah. It's like it's also really funny because they sing this whole song. God.
Forgot.
Like Demeter and Bambalerina sing this whole duet of and like that's another cute little character moment because Demeter's like terrified of this guy and she starts singing and Bambalerina kind of like is chiming in with her and both in like a. He's also does dumb shit like cheats at cards and is just kind of almost like reassuring her through the song, which is nice. Again, I know you didn't get it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, but this part.
But the funny thing is, is they're sitting there and they're like, he's like a deep thinker and like a criminal mastermind, and they never find her, and then like his actual presence in the show is just. /////
Yeah.
Kidnap. No plan.
Yeah, so like he kidnaps Deuteronomy, he goes off, they talk about how evil and stuff he is, and then suddenly Deuteronomy comes back on stage, and I was like, oh, this guy's not good. And then he pops out of Deuteronomy's costume, and I was fully tricked by that. And I was like, and then he like climbs up on the trash pile and he like takes 2 jumper cables.
Yeah.
And then he to make a big spark and then he's gone.
Yeah. Because McCavity's not there.
And I'm like, okay, so now he can teleport.
I mean, that's his whole thing is that's why he like, oh my God. Sorry. Just every once in a while, like getting hit with this. I'm trying to like talk so seriously about Cats.
I've been here this whole hour and a half, dude. This is how I felt the whole time.
I know, and I feel this too, but I've been shutting it off to just kind of get through the talks and the things I want to say so you can edit
Understandable.
So like every time that they have like a fake McCavity scare and he like appears and then disappears, that's he is implied to teleport. There's also a cool fight scene. Cool, quote unquote.
Okay. That's the worst dance battle I've ever seen. The worst dance fight I've ever seen.
I mean, fair, but it's also really fun because they sit there and they imply that Mungo Jerry used to work with him, but then when you actually look at the fight, he's like terrified the whole time and he's hiding behind people, and then he joins the fight once Monkstrap gets taken out, and then they have Plato fight him as after Monkstrap gets
cat
taken.
named Plato?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, the fight was... And like part of it is the way it was filmed.
Yeah.
So we saw how like if I was in the audience, it would have looked better because they choreograph it for that, right?
Yeah.
But the close-ups of these battles, you see that they're like
missing.
half a foot away from each other when they're doing their clawing. It was I did not like the battle.
That's fair.
And it made him look way less scary.
Yeah. But then also like Demeter and Monkstrap snuggle each other after they fight. And it's really cute.
Okay. So Deuteronomy is still gone, and they're like, what do we do? And one of the cats declares, I forget who it was.
It was Rum Tum Tugger. It's very important that it's him.
Is it very important that it's him and not the guy who's been talking the whole time?
Yes.
Why?
Because, like, you know, Rum Tug Tugger, characterization-wise,
Yes.
he, like, starts off the show and you think he's just, like, this pompous asshole who's so super, super full of himself. But then, I mean, and yes, he's always trying to grab everybody's attention in, like, the big group numbers. But then his other two major song parts are him singing about Old Deuteronomy, the leader of their tribe. And then him singing a whole ass fucking song about how great Mr. Mistopheles is.
Yeah.
It's important to me.
Okay.
And no, it's important, period. Like, I'm not going to put the qualifier on there.
Okay. So, anyways, Rum Tug Tugger, I think I'm glad he sings a song, to be fair. I like this next song a lot. I don't think it's important to the story. If it was the other dude introducing it or this idea.
We're going to have to agree to disagree because a lot of it is like a lot of it's in the character choices.
Okay.
Like, because Monkstrap disregarded and blew off Mistopheles at the end. So having him do this part of the song would have felt pretty disingenuous because, like, he doesn't seem to think much of Mistopheles at all. Whereas Rum Tug Tugger, again, serving...
Okay, so I'm sure what you're saying is very valid and true. As a very casual watcher of this afternoon,
It doesn't matter.
it does not matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll stop arguing.
Anyways, Rum Tug Tugger is like, hey, here's how we get Deuteronomy back. You know this guy, Mistopheles? He's pretty cool. He can just make people appear, and he's a magician. And you're like, that can't be. But then I remember that there was a superhero at one point, and that the evil guy is the god of lightning, and he tricked me, and I also cried. So I'm like, you gotta just go with it. Mr. Mistopheles, this song is groovy. His outfit is sparkly, and the part where he goes Presto, and it's like so like
so
it is
cute.
not very loud, and it's like a weird like woohoo like cartoony.
Presto.
And I really liked it. And like the lyrics are like he pulled 6 kittens out of a hat or something like that. 7 kittens out of the hat, so he's like magician, haha.
Yeah.
Right out of the hat.
And then
but
he
also
like flails around
yeah.
this horrible like CGI rainbow.
Oh, there's CGI rainbow. There's like sparkles randomly. Like they really put all the CGI money into the lightning with Mistopheles.
Oh
and
my
then
god,
this.
yeah. Well, you mean
Sorry, the lightning with what's his face?
Mistopheles also has lightning.
Yes, he does. Mm-hmm.
It's one of the reasons why some people think that McCavity is his son, is his father.
If they would have started this play with a Luke and Anakin Skywalker analogy, I would be fully in.
Oh, so what you're saying is they need a text scrawl.
No, I'm saying they need to actually have a plot that involves a hero's journey and daddy issues.
Oh, we'll get there when we talk about the goddamn
There's 3
movie.
songs left, dude. 2
No,
songs
we'll get
left.
there when we talk about the fucking movie.
Okay, I have no idea what that means. Anyways, so Mr. Mistopheles is being sparkly and doing dazzling magic, and then just casually bringing back Deuteronomy with this very obvious, like, there's this weird little, like, sewer
It's
pipe.
basically like a sewer pipe, and they put in
Yeah.
like a big red thing, and then he pops out. It's really cute because every time, like, Mistopheles keeps looking over at Tugger for reassurance. Like every time, there are times where his magic doesn't work. Like he tries to shoot lightning and it just fizzles out, and then like Tugger just keeps like, "Go, keep going, man, keep hype." And it's a very cute dynamic. And
I again did not see any of that because I was just shocked that there was any CGI, and I was like, "What?" Also, that guy just said "presto." A cat said "presto."
Yeah. I kind of really like Mistopheles and
The song's
Tugger.
good.
No, I really like Mistopheles and Tugger together,
Like shipping.
Yeah. That's like 90% of what this page is.
Love that for you. I did not see that relationship at all, but love that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, love the sparkles.
You mean you didn't read that much into like people looking at each other for 10 seconds?
Yeah, and also I finished the movie 10 minutes before you got to my house. Then we get, I don't know how the transition works, and I'm sure you do. Then we get to the bop of sad bops.
Do you want me to talk about the transition?
Sure, if it's brief.
Sure. So the brief version of the transition is Deuteronomy comes back and they're like, it's time to make the Jellicle choice, and they all surround him, all desperate to be the one to die.
Oh, yes. And then
like Jemima, whose name is changed to Syllabub in different versions because Jemima has like a very bad connotation.
Yeah.
Starts singing Memory.
Mm-hmm. But the
part that Grisabella had sang. And then Grisabella comes in and finally, like, because like Deuteronomy has had like little moments throughout the show where he's like made eye contact with her and like almost looked like he wanted to say something, but now he like really like gives her the moment. And so she sings Memory.
Yeah. And the song, everyone knows Memory. It's a beautiful song. And like, it's good.
Yeah, and it's really like it's really powerful because Victoria, the white cat, comes back in and touches her for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's a really fun, like, you know, the younger members of the tribe, Jemima and Victoria, like being the ones to close the wounds that have been left by the older cats. And then she gets to die. Right. Journey to the Heaviside layer.
Yeah, Journey to the Heaviside layer. It's just
they all have
cult
like
shit. It's just cult shit.
And they just all like they all just like grab her hands and like escort her up to die.
Yeah, they're still like bullying her lightly about her coat, and then Deuteronomy grabs her, puts her on imagine a flying saucer that is a tire.
Yep.
And then it starts moving up, and they get a little higher, and then imagine a staircase, specifically the ones from airplanes that when you go outside the airplane, it's that type of staircase.
A stairway pops up from heaven.
And it's smoky, and he's like, go, and she's happy.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's like she finally got accepted. Like, it's a good closure for her little weird story.
Yeah. But you're still sitting there and you're like,
what?
They had a whole competition about who got to die, and they're happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's some weird death cult shit.
Yeah, and then the last song, I didn't really like it. The dressing of the cats.
Oh my god, that song is so stupid.
And we get the line, a cat is not a dog.
Shout out to Andrew, who is so obsessed with this line that he references it at every chance he gets. God bless him. At this point, I was sitting there and I was like, I just wrote 10 pages of notes about a musical that contains the line, a cat is not a dog. Like, full out.
Yeah, and like at the end, as this song was going, the very end, I was sitting there thinking, and I was like, this play at moments has almost cool things to say about death and like the process of grieving, right? With Deuteronomy, with the elder cats, with Deuteronomy, with Grisabella, with Gus, and it's like almost those bits are so weirdly, radically good, and then the rest exists, and it's like. It's almost not almost there. It has a lot of steps to even get there, but like it's there. There's crumbs there, and I want those crumbs to be fully baked bread.
And I know I said like that it's bad, but the real thing is Cats in a lot of ways transcends good or bad because there's no plot and nothing really ties together unless you're super super into like the lore and like fan theories and all this other crazy shit that most people are just like going in and just being like, yeah, I saw cats.
They're dancing.
There's
that one hot one.
There's the hot one. At one point, like they sing the song I know.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the end of it.
Yeah.
And like the reason I say that it transcends good or bad is because individually, there's a lot of really fun stuff. Like some of the songs are really fun, like Rum Tug Tugger, Memory, obviously. Like I told you, Old Deuteronomy makes me cry for some godforsaken reason.
Yeah.
But then you're just sitting there and you're like, superhero cat with blazing red eyes. Cat orgy.
The evil guy controls lightning?
The best villain song for a do-nothing villain that gets taken out in 4 hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, he doesn't get taken out. He runs away because he's like, there's 10 of you and 1 of me. I'm going to survive another day.
Yeah.
But it's still like, bro.
Yeah.
You got all this hype and you just
there's
like
no
left.
resolution.
We don't know what he wants. We don't know why he does anything.
No.
Hit me up if you want my fanfic recommendations. Please don't. I can't share this with other people. Oh my god.
So, okay. Now the question is,
How the fuck do you adapt like a book of poems?
Is this a good adaptation? And so, like, that question obviously is a flawed question, which is why I like it. Because first, everyone's own different definition of what's a good adaptation. What is an adaptation? What makes it good? And then it's different. Usually, you know, we do books and movies usually, occasionally, the TV show. But, like, a poem, which is already, like, a very subjective form of literature for reason, like, purposely subjective, right?
Yeah.
To a musical, which is also purposely subjective for many specific reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you connect them?
Oh, do you want me to
No,
talk?
how do you connect them, like, as in the world of, like, is this a good adaptation? That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I think, like, it's not a good adaptation because, like, first of all, T.S. Eliot, which we're okay with because we hate him, would hate cats. He'd sit there and he'd be like, what the fuck? It's not good for kids because there's cat sex in it, whether or not they realize it. And it's just kind of nonsense. It'd be almost a better adaptation if Andrew Lloyd Webber had gone through with his original plan and made it a musical review of just, they come in and they sing their cat song and they go home.
Yeah.
But he had to make it a plot.
And yeah, I agree. I think it is not a good adaptation. Does that mean I don't like it more? Absolutely not. I obviously like the musical more than the poetry because the poetry sucks. I wouldn't call this a good musical because it's not. And I wouldn't call, but honestly, I would call it a bad musical. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, again, liking bad, quote, bad things.
Like, and liking, the reason that I say that it, like, transcends good or bad or whatever is because I feel like it's very much like, you either, at least in the musical fandom, you either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
There's very little middle ground. Whereas, like, when a musical is bad, there's people who, like, will, like, say, well, I like this part of it. I like this part of it because it is so subjective.
Yeah.
But Cats, like, it's hard to have a opinion about it because it's objectively fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like, it just defies all logic of, like, what musicals are. And, like, oh my God, can I talk a little bit about the origin of this musical? So, obviously, based off of Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. Andrew Lloyd Webber, as, like, a fun little exercise for himself one day, songwriting exercise, wrote music for the things and was performing them at shows. And then one day was like, oh, I can make, like, a little musical review. And then he found, like, Grisabella poem and was like, oh, cool. I have a plot. And I'm like, do you, Andrew? Do you? Do you? Do you, Webby, old boy, Sir Lloyd Webber?
Yeah.
So then Hal Prince gets involved because he's Hal Prince is a Broadway director. Very famous.
Oh, I heard Hal Prince as in the singer. And I was like, you're waiting till the end to tell me Prince was involved? That explains Rum Tum Duggar. But no, that makes more sense. Hal
Prince, and he's also not I can't remember if he's a director, but he's a very famous musical producer. He's involved in a lot of, like, 60s, 70s, 80s productions. But as, like, Andrew Lloyd Webber was, like, sitting there and like pitching the idea and talking to him about it, like, Hal Prince one day was like, I mean, I just am having trouble following the concept of this. Is it, like, a metaphor about Queen Victoria and Benjamin Disraeli and, like, all of these, like, things? And, like, Andrew Lloyd Webber stopped playing the piano, turned around, looked at him and said, Hal, it's about cats. And then just went back to playing the piano.
Yeah.
And that kind of sums it up.
Yeah. It's about cats. Yeah. And, like, the things, just to, like, summarize, what I liked about this is I liked Rum Tum Tugger in general. I did not like, but in a way that I liked, the emotions I felt with Gus. Didn't have to happen. The Mr. Mistopheles number was good. I don't think it's my top. And Memory is good. Like, those two kind of, like, tie to the, like, the bottom of the things I like. That's about it for me. Like, everything else,
honestly,
like,
that's more than I expected.
Yeah. I just, like, I don't ever regret reading stuff for the podcast and stuff because of that aspect of it. But like, I mean, I'm glad I watched this sober because there is half of this I did not remember.
To be fair, there's not a lot to remember.
No, but like full on. And I'm specifically talking about the battle song, the fact that they had costumes on top of their costumes for a second time, and the superhero of it all. Like that. I sat there and I texted my friend and I was like, did I fall asleep? Because I fall asleep all the time when I watch stuff. And I was like, did I fall asleep during this? And she was like, no, you were fully in a different world. And I was like, okay, I'm glad it wasn't because I fell asleep. I'm glad it was that reason. Anyways, I don't know. I am very excited to watch the movie now.
I'm not.
Here's what I know about the movie besides all of the I wish I would have seen it before they fixed the edits for the memes that evolved, but I didn't want to because I hadn't seen the musical in so long. And I don't know why that stopped me. I don't know. I just should have seen it. But I'm excited to see it because I'm excited to see how bad it is. I'm excited to finally get into this late pop culture zeitgeist knowledge. And it's going to be so bad. And I'm very excited. And
I am not.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. But you agreed to do this.
Yeah,
no one is forcing you.
Was this a secret plot to make you watch Cats sober so that I could info dump about it for 2 hours? Possibly.
Wasn't that secret, dude?
Oh, dang. My master evil plan has been uncovered.
You gotta take more lessons from this
cavity
guy. Also, there was no cavity joke, and that's as someone who grew up around tooth humor, but as a dentist,
You're disappointed that there's no.
I'm disappointed. No one said, "Oh, that's so sweet. It's my cavity." That's funny. And I stand by that. Any last thoughts you want to share with the class?
Hit me up if you want more intense deep lore / all 10 pages of my notes, because I skimmed over a lot of stuff in the interest of not sounding like a fucking maniac, which I know I already failed at.
How are they gonna hit you up if they don't know you in real life, dude?
Well, all the people who message you can message me.
How?
Well, they'll message you and then
I'll tell you. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying message Janessa with your cat's questions and she'll forward them to Amanda and get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the Cats fandom going to be mad about this?
I don't know. Anyone who gets mad about this discussion is taking Cats too seriously.
That from the lady herself who, at times in that last conversation we just had, took Cats a little too seriously.
Yeah.
But
you
took it with a grain of salt. You talk about it with a grain of salt.
It's a bad show.
Yeah.
No. I fully know that.
Oh, absolutely.
But also, it just brain rot.
If you're not already following us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram at Read the Book First Podcast. Updates are there. I'll post a schedule once I figure that out. / maybe I won't. Please rate us 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, you don't have to worry about it. Share it with your friends. Downloads, likes, subscribes, all of those things. And remember,
Read the book first.